It is not your role to try to micromanage your man or to lead them. And if a part of you in your head is thinking, he cannot do it the way I do, I can do it better, I should do it better, otherwise I feel like I'm not contributing enough for the relationship, that is when you get to dissolve those barriers that don't allow you to receive. Welcome to the Deeper Please podcast. I'm Eliza V, dating and intimacy coach, Mexican medicine woman, and feminine and masculine energy expert. I personally believe that we humans get to self-actualize through the path of opening our hearts. So this podcast has been designed for you to peel back the layers and discover who you get to be as an open-hearted human in this lifetime. I will be sharing with you heart-expanding and mind-bending tools and concepts for you to create deeper and more fulfilling conscious relationships with yourself and with the world around you. So with that said, open your heart, turn the volume up, and let's go deeper. Hello lovers, welcome back to another episode of the Deeper Please podcast. My name is Eliza V, for those of you who don't know me, and I'm your host in this space. And today I am so freaking excited to welcome you back in here because I'm gonna say I've been off for almost 2 months, mostly off from not only the podcast, but I've been super quiet business-wise because so much has been happening. Like, oh my gosh, I feel like I need to record an episode just to update you about the juicy things that have been happening in both my personal life and the evolution of my purpose. Oh my gosh, of course it all has to do with intimacy work and the wonders that happen when we really show up for the work in the realm of intimacy, love, and relationships. Yeah, just a little peek for you to know your girl is in a new partnership. And oh my gosh, like, it's been so gorgeous, it's been so beautiful. I cannot wait to give you all the details about how it all has happened, and I'm just gonna say it all has been unfolding divinely and very beautifully. So these past 2 months have been really about me anchoring into this new energy, recalibrating to the new energy, massive upgrade, big time. And of course, I will give you all the insights into my process because I want you to have the same, right? With that said, today I am very excited to welcome you into this episode that is all about how to embody feminine energy in relationships. This is a very requested topic by my clients, by my audience, by the women in my world, and the women in my world really value personal growth and healing, and they really seek how to become more of themselves, how to lean more into their feminine nature, not because it's a trend, not because that's what you should do in order to get a man. It's because that is your nature. For any feminine core being that is listening to this, it is my hope that this episode will give you insights and practical tips to embody more of your nature and to take more steps to lean more into that feminine energy that already exists within you. And I just want to begin with that, like reminding you that being feminine is not about becoming someone that you're not. It's not about dressing up or looking like society has told you, or like your family told you, or your culture told you. I really advocate for us letting go of any stereotypes around feminine energy. So it is really my hope that with today's conversation, you walk away with permission, a lot of permission to be more yourself, to lean more into your true nature, to embrace all the different layers and phases that your feminine nature has. Because if you haven't listened to episode 1 of this season, you know, episode 1 is all about redefining feminine energy, and that's something that I really talk about. It, for me, feminine energy is really multifaceted, and it's really my hope that you focus more on becoming more of you, on doing the work that allows you to be more of yourself and to open your heart more, rather than becoming someone that doesn't feel natural to you, or rather than becoming someone just in order to be liked or accepted. At the end of the day, the most magnetic energy, the energy that really attracts the deepest love and the deepest connection, and that is going to make you the happiest, is the energy that is more pure to you and most authentic to you. Now, why should you care about being more feminine or embodying deeper feminine energy in your relationship, in your dating life? Here is the thing. This is not about you need to be more feminine so you attract the partner of your dreams. It's not about you need to be more feminine so your husband falls deeper in love with you. In my world, we don't do X to get Y. This is all about how can I be a more elevated and truthful version of myself, so I feel so freaking good with who I am, and therefore everything else, everyone around me are gonna be more in love with me. Everything in my life is gonna feel so freaking good. So much happens and everything changes really when you are the truest version of yourself. So let me give you now a little sneak peek into what my relationships used to be before I did any of this work. And this is just for you to have an idea about where I come from, what it used to be like for me, and maybe you can relate to some pieces or to a lot of my own story. But let me tell you that all my romantic relationships in my 20s, in my teens, in my 20s, and even my very early 30s, my relationships used to be more about me being the one in hyper control of everything. I needed to be in control. I needed to micromanage my partners. I needed to make every decision in my relationships. I needed to basically feel like I was wearing the pants, so to speak. I was the one leading the relationship. I used to emasculate my male partners so badly. It was so hard for me to trust a man, even for the most simple things. At the end of the day, I realized through this work that all of those patterns, the patterns of like talking down to a man or emasculating them in the form of like not trusting them and always thinking like, why are you so stupid, or you cannot do anything right, or all of these patterns came from a deep sense of unsafety with the masculine. My feminine energy, my feminine core was so hurt and so wounded that I needed to push men down. I needed to almost pedestalize myself in a way and look at them downplay them, because that is what made me feel safe and protected. So in my relationships, that's why I needed to make the decisions and always be in hyper control. But now I know that it all came from that deep sense of unsafety within myself and the deep pain and hurt that I have not yet healed. So my feminine was deeply wounded, and this is one of the biggest signs of wounded feminine, that need for control. How many of you can relate to this? I'm sure a lot of you listening to this are like, yeah, we all have our own version of this, like trying to control the man, trying to control or micromanage our partners or the man that we're dating. Now, I went from living most of my relationships that way, to now my most recent relationships, and the one that I am in now is like day and night. It's a world of a difference, right? Now I am able to be so relaxed in my relationship. I am able to not only attract a very masculine man that is in his healthy masculine, providing and protecting and really showing up for me with such a beautiful space holding and offering a beautiful masculine energy for the container. But also, this is a dynamic and a relationship so full of life, so full of range, so full of spectrum. And what I mean by that is like, it's so unique. Like, I'm able to create relationships that really fit my soul. I'm not here to follow anyone's rules in love and intimacy, and I hope that you do the same, right? I'm not here to give you, like, to prescribe you in your love life. I'm here to show you the path for you to create your own unique blueprint of love and intimacy. That's what I want for you. I want you to create your own unique flavor of relationship that feels so freaking delicious and perfect for you. It's not about following someone else's protocol or blueprint. No, these like relationships are so unique to each one of us, and I'm here to offer you the tools and shine the light on the path that will help you get there. So now, how did I get here? How was I able to go from relationships where I was feeling exhausted from being in control, where I was feeling so underwhelmed and even disappointed often by men, to now being in really a beautiful, thriving relationship? And if you've been here long enough in my world, you know this is not my first beautiful, conscious relationship, right? So what it means to embody feminine energy in relationship, to me, the number one thing is being an open-hearted woman, an open-hearted being. And the work of opening the heart is a relentless work that you need to show up with this mindset of, I'll do whatever it takes. I'll do whatever it takes. Because when we have a closed heart, or when we have these armors around the heart, when we have these like walls protecting us, we think that we are protecting ourselves from hurt, but we are protecting ourselves from the beauty and depth of love. And I'm sure that if you're here, that's not the way you want to live, right? So the work of opening the heart, to me, is the most feminine work that you can ever do. For me, there is no feminine energy work complete if we have not done the deeper work to open the heart. And what it means is really becoming aware of all those parts of your heart that don't allow life in, that don't allow the masculine in, that reject any kind of intimacy, whether it's with the world, with the masculine, with men, with people. The parts of your heart that are still in deep hurt and in deep unsafety, tending to those parts and holding those parts of yourself and going into reparenting those old versions of you and holding those versions of you that didn't get the support to process any events that along your life have made you close. That is what it means to do the work of opening the heart. And we want to open the heart because when we walk the world with an open heart, that is where the deepest feminine energy can be embodied. Living with a closed heart in relationships, this is when we are in constant inability to trust our partners, inability to trust the people we date. This is the energy that keeps us single for so many years when we are deep down longing for a relationship and a partnership and a family. There is nothing wrong with wanting those things. And if there is a part of you that deeply desires the partnership, the family, and for some reason you continue to convince yourself that you're better off alone and that you are too busy growing your business or creating any other excuse, now this is your invitation. Take this as your sign from God, from the universe, that it's time to dive deeper into opening the heart. Now, the biggest misconception about being an open-hearted being or being a feminine being in relationships and in dating is that it means to be unprotected in your heart. That if you are open or feminine or soft or surrendered in relationship, it means that you're gonna get hurt because you are not protecting yourself. And that is the biggest and most damaging idea that there exists, in my opinion. Being in your feminine or being surrendered in a relationship doesn't mean that you don't have boundaries or that you don't have a voice or that you cannot have an opinion. It's really not about that. You can be soft, you can be in your feminine, you can be in submission, in deep feminine and in like so soft, and also have very, very strong boundaries, and also have a very strong voice. And for that, you don't need to be loud or aggressive. It's all about the trust that you have in yourself and the trust that you have in the masculine. You don't have to go through the world overly protecting yourself. You assume the best in the masculine and you attract the best. And you know that whenever you don't receive the best or what you really need and deserve, you trust yourself enough to walk away. Simply because you are that woman. You are the person that loves herself too much to stay in a situation where you are not deeply respected, cherished, and honored. This beautiful work, if you see, is not only about learning to trust the masculine and learning to be softer in your heart, but at the same time, this beautiful work is also going to give you that trust in yourself to hold yourself and protect yourself and take care of yourself, and therefore From that place, you're able to receive more from the world, from your man, from your partner. I would love to hear from you. If you're listening to this, take a screenshot, send me a message on Instagram, and I would love to hear how this is landing for you. Okay, so other beautiful aspects of feminine energy in relationship that have really changed the game for me, apart from being open-hearted, of course, is also embracing the different archetypes of the feminine. I deeply believe that we all have like one or two archetypes that come out really strongly, naturally in our personality, right? Some women embody really beautifully the wild woman, or other women are more like in the mystic side, or others are more like in the sacred slot, or the queen, or you name it. What I love about being in deep feminine energy in relationship is that you have that self-confidence in yourself that you can embrace all of the archetypes at any given moment, and you are so safe to do so. How beautiful is that? I really love embracing from like what my partner calls the baby girl. To me, is like my inner child, and that's when he calls me baby girl, is when I become all like playful and silly and really goofy. And this is something that really took me a while to embrace, to be honest. I probably have this tendency to take myself so serious. Who can relate? Raise your hand. Sometimes I take myself too serious, but the more I've been diving into this work, I reclaim this part of me that is just like goofy and silly and childish, right? And when I bring out that part of me in my relationship, it brings so much lightness, and it's very, very beautiful. Now, it doesn't mean that I have to be that way all of the time, because it's my responsibility to bring the fun and the lightness. But if it's such a core nature of mine, like, why not, right? And also, that is really what makes your partner fall more in love with you, when you are that yourself, when you are so yourself. Your partner, what he wants to see you doing is or being is be more of yourself, at the same time as you can receive more of himself. I think that's a key for a great relationship. Now, there are other archetypes that if you get to bring them in your relationship, I think that they really bring a lot of richness into it. For example, one of the main archetypes that I'm playing with right now, apart from the baby girl or the inner child, is the sacred slut or the divine whore. Now, this is one of the archetypes that for most women is the hardest to embrace, because societal conditioning, cultural conditioning, religious conditioning, you name it, right? There is so many blockages that a lot of us had to work through. But it's also so beautiful when you can bring that primal, raw version of you, the whorish version of you into your relationship. Like, the right man is going to freaking love that from you. Like, the right person will love every part of you. This is a reflection that I've been really, really having these days as a reflection of my own relationship right now, is when you are in the right relationship, you are going to be more of yourself, and every part of yourself is going to be more amplified. That's how you know that you're in the right relationship, right? A lot of the times we hold ourselves back from bringing out certain parts of ourselves because we think that our partner is going to say we are a little crazy, we are a little freaky or whatever, But I think the beauty of this is that when you learn to accept yourself and embrace all of you, then that energy really invites your partner to embrace all of you. But that has to begin within you. Your self-acceptance has to begin within you. Now, I want to dive in a little bit into this part where I hear so many women say, I want a man that is masculine. I want a man that is a provider. I want a man that is a protector, that takes care of me, that is a leader. And those things are so beautiful. I get it. Obviously, you want that and you deserve that. And at the same time, I realize that we want a strong masculine man, and at the same time, we women or feminine beings are the first ones to push down masculinity. Whether we do it consciously or not, I really invite every feminine being on the planet to really look into the patterns where we push down men or masculinity. Here is the thing. I want you to know that the masculine naturally wants to provide and protect. Right now I might hear some of you say, no, it's not true. My ex didn't want to, or this guy doesn't want to provide and protect. We all have our own work to do. We all have our own paths, our own karma, right? But at its nature, at its core, divine masculine energy wants to provide and protect. And your divine femininity wants to receive that. Now, in your relationship or in your dating life, how can you lean a little more into being more receptive? How can you lean a little more into honoring all versions, all forms of providership from the masculine? Providership comes in the forms of emotional safety, all physical safety, financial safety. There are so many ways that the masculine wants to serve the feminine, and a lot of the times we are the ones that block that. So your invitation is to really reflect, how can I receive more when my partner wants to provide, when he wants to give me, when he wants to protect? How can I be more receptive to that? But remember, you in your feminine is about giving them the space to be the masculine. It is not your role to try to lead or control or make every single decision. Yes, you definitely have your role in that and your voice and your opinion, but it is not your role to try to micromanage your man or to lead them, right? Let him do it. And if a part of you in your head is thinking, he cannot do it the way I do, I can do it better, I should do it better, otherwise I feel like I'm not contributing enough for the relationship, that is when you get to dissolve those barriers that don't allow you to receive. All right? Okay, my loves, with that said, I hope that you enjoyed this episode. You made it this far. Let me know what you think. Send me a message on Instagram. I always love hearing from you. And if you would like to dive a little deeper, I have a very, very special gift for you. I have my program, Irresistible Femme. I'm gonna give you free access exclusively for listeners of the podcast. Find the link below. This is a 7-module full program on how to be more feminine in your dating life. It's so juicy. It's about like 10 hours of content right there. It's a whole program that I used to sell for $1,000, and now I have it here for free for you. So go and get it in the link below and let me know how it goes. I love you so much. Mwah, mwah, mwah. See you next time. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Deeper Please podcast. Don't forget to check the show notes for ways to go even deeper. Remember to share this episode with someone you love, and if you feel like sharing with me how this podcast is impacting your life and relationships, feel free to slide into my inbox at I am Eliza V on Instagram. Stay open, stay wild, and see you next time.